Jim Irsay.
Oh yeah.
Geez.
Jim Irsay he's our favorite billionaire, I think. I don't know about everybody. He's my favorite billionaire. He's obviously helped me out immensely in my life. He has paid me a bunch of money. He has come on this show. He is a man that I've had incredible conversations with, learned a lot about, and through following either his life documented or via Twitter, I think to myself, if I'm a billionaire and I own a team, I hope I can be half as cool as that guy. Mm-hmm. Everybody's heard about his collection of musical stuff. He's got Jimi Hendrix guitars. He's got Paul McCartney guitars.
Jeez.
He put the Beatles back together one time. Had to buy some old buddies, the drummers.
Ringo Starr.
Ringo Starr's drums to bring the band back together. He loves music, he loves success, and he loves football. He played college football. He grew up in the Baltimore Colts organization, literally as an equipment manager, as a ball boy. Then he kind of moved through there. Same jobs Mitt had, by the way, as a child growing up in the NFL, but his dad happened to own a team, so he was around. He said he grew up in the locker room. So this is a guy who understands football. I think a lot of people talk shit on Jim Irsay potentially for some of the demons that he's had to battle throughout his entire life. And those are, self-inflicted. I think he would even say that. But Jim Irsay is a guy who's been around the NFL for a long time and actually knows football. So whenever decisions are made for the Indianapolis Colts, Chris Ballard, I think, would say that Jim will give me everything I need. I have to go tell him. He has to agree. He has to be on the same page as it. Jim Irsay loves being involved, but also lets people work. I think that is something that he absolutely will do. So whenever he saw that his team was inevitably 1-4, and when Jim Irsay knows that what the expectations are for this team outside the building and what his expectations have always been because of how much he loves football and loves the Indianapolis Colts. When he drafted Andrew Luck, he was very open in saying this era is going to win more Super Bowls than the Peyton Manning era. We need to win multiple Super Bowls, he said. This is the expectation that I have. This is where I'm holding the team at. This is what I would like. And I think even in doing so, he acknowledged that probably should have got more during the Peyton Manning era for one reason or another, and shit rolls downhill. So maybe he takes a little bit of onus on that for the decisions that were made whenever, however, even though he's not on the field and he's not the one devising the strategy or whatever. So whenever he hits the internet and starts putting out not song lyrics or not giveaways, in which he does massive amounts of giveaways on his Twitter account basically every single day. He does a lot of that. But when he starts talking about the team, I feel like it is coming from a point where he's fed up. Like he's at the point where he's like, I'm not watching this shit anymore. So he put out a tweet, and by watching this shit, I don't think that's a knock on anybody. I think he's letting everybody know, hey, this is the expectations that I have for this team. I am invested. He said, Colts Nation, don't you worry. Brother, we're going to get the horseshoe at least 2 Lombardis this decade. As sure as the sun rises and the seasons change, it's coming. Don't you ever doubt that. Ever. You will see greatness. Believe, and you will see a rally cry from Jim Irsay, because I think he's feeling exactly like they're feeling. He could have never expected the team to be 1-4 or 5 games in. Knew it was going to be a tough season. Knew it was going to be a tough start to his schedule. But with the investment, bringing in Carson Wentz, which is another like $100 million worth of contracts, the team that he's built up, he paid Quentin, he paid Darius Leonard. He's going to have to make a lot, he's paying a lot of people. He saw the expectations, the projections, how the team did last year. Now they're 1-4, and he's like, I ain't doing this shit either. We are going to win. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what he's implying. Maybe he's thinking this team will turn it around this year. Maybe he's thinking, although it's not great right now, we have a good future. And then he said, if you want to come talk to me, if you have anything to say, there's no hope or try. Okay, it's can do. Mr. is his tweet. And I think that was a follow-up to those expectations for when he's talking to anybody. And he says, this is what I like to do. I'd like to win multiple Lombardis. I'd like to have the horseshoe back in prominence. And they say, I'm going to try my best to do that. And Mr. Irsay, this is how I took this. Don't try, okay? You can do. Shut the fuck up and go do.
Yeah.
And I love that. I enjoy that. But there's no way he thought his team was going to be 1-4 right now.
No
This
chance.
goes back to the point that John Mara made when he said he's tired of telling his billionaire friends why his team stinks, so that's why he invested in the team. Jim Irsay loves football, has a lot of football buddies. All his friends are considered like football. They fly to all the games with him. I mean, he is And now he has 1-4 team. I assume he's not happy. I wonder what's going on in that building over there.
Well, and on top of it, he's coming off a summer where, he's with Peyton and Edge getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and they're coming
Glory
back. Yeah,
days.
exactly. Like, he's reminded of all the success they have had. And like you said, there's no way they thought they'd be 1-4. Like, when I saw this, and to your point about him, he never tweets stuff like this, really. So you assume, like, okay, he's lighting a fire under Reich. Somebody's ass. Like, and whether it's Ballard, too, like, he's fed up for sure, because it's crazy. It's early, but like you don't expect this kind of stuff.
It's crazy to think this, but there is a narrative out there, and I'm observing and reporting. Please, I'm a conduit of information that is happening out there. There are people that are like, Ballard and Frank need to get the fuck out of here. They just got extensions, like 4 or 5 year extensions. Their team was in the playoffs last year. Andrew Luck retired 9 days before the season, which has kind of thrown an entire plan into a muck in, I would assume, Chris Ballard's eyes. But this is the NFL. And in Indianapolis, to your point about glory days, a lot of winning here for a long time. I'm not, obviously, New England for 20 years was able to stack Lombardis, and it was unbelievable. It's unprecedented. It's an anomaly what they were able to do. But here, when Peyton was on and everybody was there, this team won all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jim Irsay got used to that. I know he knows it's very difficult because there were some bad days here in Indianapolis before the Peyton era, and that entire team that doesn't get enough credit, and there's not enough time to read through everybody, but the team that is associated with just the Peyton Manning era, there was a lot of winning. Turn this town into a football town as opposed to a basketball and a racing town, which is what it was for a long time. And now, if there's any sense of complacency or chance that the team's going to stink, they don't get. They're not happy about it. Midwest is real. Hoosier hospitality is a real thing, but there's real expectations with the Indianapolis Colts team, especially after what happened last year. Getting Carson Wentz in here, he played. I thought Carson played his best game last game.
Very well. 400 yards.
He threw for 400 yards.
Yeah.
He looked like a quarterback. He was making passes. But when you invest in the team and expectations are what they are and they don't work out, this is not a city that is just going to be quiet about it. I mean, there's people wearing bags over their head that year. We almost went completely Duff-feeded showing up. It's like, yo, go over to Cleveland. This team is the winningest day. The guy who's the quarterback had 45 wires sticking out of his neck.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to happen? They have high expectations here, as they should, and so does Jim Irsay.
Yeah, but even to your point, like that Peyton Manning era teams, they were so good and they only won one. Like, it is so hard to win Super Bowls in the NFL, especially with the young quarterback talent. Like, does Irsay really want to go through another terrible year to get another Andrew Luck, and then hopefully they can have that quick turnaround like they did then? Because it seems so unlikely.
I think Jim would just open the checkbook up. I don't think he's going to be looking. They got Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get draft picks to get a young quarterback, they got Carson Wentz instead of trying to get a draft pick to get a young quarterback. I think Jim Irsay is at the stage of the game where we are not rolling the dice anymore. We are going to try for this entire thing, but you have to keep it in the back of your mind. There was a chance maybe that Tom Brady would come here.
Yeah, and Matt Stafford.
And to that point, that's like people who've been around.
Matthew Stafford was looking at houses on Zillow in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Not Carson Wentz had a game. He just threw for 400.
Yeah, great game.
He's 1-4.
He just threw for 400. Okay, let's not get crazy. But I do believe that is where Jim Irsay will look.
To the